Y'all hear me now?
Yo. I guess we gotta start over.
So now we got to
Can y'all
reintroduce
hear
it.
us now? Can you
We
hear me
should be
now?
able
Can
to
you
hear
hear me now? No, still no sound? No sound, no sound, no
He
sound.
said yes.
Okay, somebody
He
said
said
Okay, so
nice.
okay, we can hear it now.
All right,
All
Okay, so
right.
we gotta
We gotta
redo
redo
we gotta redo
it.
it now. All right.
Take two.
Okay,
All right,
take
take
two.
two.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tasharia.
And I'm Tasha.
And this is Turner Talk Podcast. And we have a very special guest today, Phaariq.
Phaariq.
I wanted to say, you may know him from ABC's All Rise or CW's The March. I should say March. It ain't that much. But I didn't want to get all stumbled up because I'm really excited. This is a Fort Worth native and also Prairie View A&M University alumni like myself, Phaariq.
Phaariq.
What they say on what they say about it?
He's the new hottest Hollywood TV producer.
That's what they was
That's what they call him.
That's
Who
what they
said
call
that?
me.
The American Reporter.
The American Reporter. Oh, the American Reporter said we in there.
He had his glamour shot on there too. He's looking real nice, real fancy.
Just a quick little.
Yeah, it was real nice.
Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we just want to introduce and have a conversation with Phaariq because this man is blowing up. He is all up
He's
out here. You
doing
know
it.
what I'm saying? So it is amazing to me because as a Fort Worth native, we don't see a lot of people coming out of Fort Worth and doing like this major things like
Major productions.
Yeah, major production. Like really?
Yeah.
So tell us how you got started, and I know a little bit. You
And
know
some of your work.
Where y'all want me to start at? That's
From the beginning.
I guess you could say just kind of get into when I realized what I wanted to be and everything. All right, so pretty much when I was a kid, I would always watch TV, and I'm like, I watch a lot of X-Men, a lot of movies and stuff like that. And I'm like, all these people on TV got powers, like they can change the weather and manipulate stuff and do this or whatever. So shortly I realized, okay, they're just acting. That's what they're doing. They movies aren't real, but on TV they're real. So once I realized that, I pretty much started doing a whole bunch of research. I would research everything I watched as a kid, like TV, movie, every actor, every actress, the budget, the revenue.
Oh,
I mean, I
wow.
just kind of got into
You went deep.
everything, and it would be dependent on what I watched and everything. So I realized that I'm a shot caller. Like I like to execute. I can have a vision and then I can kind of bring it to life. I like to perform. I like to do all these things. So I pretty much decided in my head, like I want to be a producer. I feel like that's my calling, to produce not only just TV and film, but in real life in general. You on your way to the car, you producing yourself to the car. You got to produce yourself.
Okay.
You got to
Yeah.
show up. So I
Facts.
think that was the most important thing for me, and I stayed doing research. I graduated high school, and I ended up going to Prairie View A&M University. And when I got there, I was a computer engineer major. So I always liked math and stuff like that until I got to college. And I was like, this ain't really,
This ain't you.
I'm passionate about technology. My dad used to build computers from scratch. Like I just can, kind of fix anything. I was always the fixer. But I had to realize, like, what am I really passionate about? What do I really want to do as far as just my life, and what do I want to pursue? So I ended up going undecided. I changed my major, and I got into mass communication, which is pretty much just like TV, broadcast, radio, interpersonal communication. I had a minor in humanities, which got me into kind of theater, music, literature, African American literature, and stuff like that. So I found something that was pretty well rounded for me, as far as what I wanted to pursue in media, and I just kind of went from there.
That's what's up. That is what's up now. See, me, what I always like loved about you, like you have a style, like a flair, and I think
People always say that.
yeah, like you have like you don't
think
like
so?
not you don't dress like nobody else. You don't like act like nobody else. You just different. Like
I appreciate that.
I like, where did that come from? Like, what inspires you? Like you said TV, but like anything else? Like,
I think.
how do you come up with such like?
That's a
You're
good question.
original.
Yeah.
You're not. You nobody else. You're not like anybody else.
Yeah, I'm big on originality. I've always been big on originality. But the most important thing for me was just kind of doing me. You know, it's a difference between doing you and then actually being yourself. When you're allowed to be yourself. So I just started out doing me, and I would get these ideas in my head. I just kind of put pieces together as far as what I put on. I'm not too really into it now. I'm more laid back and relaxed. Like I don't have to be the person in the room that's always the center of attention, or you know, everybody like what he got on, what he wearing. I really don't care about that kind of stuff no more. But in the beginning, I really just did me, and to be honest, I was kind of ostracized for it. I guess you could say. Like,
Really?
I don't know what's another word for it. I don't want to say bully, but just ostracized in a sense, like being different. People, when you're not the same as everybody else, people tend to alienate you.
Yeah.
Just subconsciously. So yeah, I think that's what really put some drive in me. Like, you know, okay, I'm just doing me. I don't care. It don't matter if 1,000 people in the room or if 0 people in the room. I'm just gonna do.
But you know what really impressed me with you, especially after I found out, you know, your TV show. We were all together Christmas, like a couple of days before Christmas.
Family right here.
Yeah.
Family.
You host Family Feud. We're going to work on it, but you host it, but we're going to work on it for this year.
This is my cousin.
We're going to work on it. You know, and you were there the whole time, and he gave out good gift cards also. We're not going to name them, but he had good presents. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this year.
Hey, y'all enjoy it while it lasts.
I know, right?
After a while, my presence is gonna have to be.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah, so, but you know, I try to do.
But what really impressed me, like you know, most people that have what you had going on at the time would have been like, "Hey, watch, you know, come XYZ, come watch me." But you just was flowing like you was just going to work at Walmart tomorrow. You know, like you just walking. I'm like, dude was doing this and he didn't tell nobody to watch or anything, and that humbleness is big to me.
Yeah, so
that's real big.
I think when you make up in your mind you want to do something that you're passionate about, or even if you don't know your purpose yet, you're still trying to figure it out. It can be hard to have expectations of people's support. So I'm in the mode now, and I learned this early on. You know, I'm not gonna beg nobody to support me. I'm not gonna ask nobody to support me. But when the moments come, and they will come, whatever side you pick, just stay on. You know what I'm saying? But as far as me just doing what I do, I think just growing recently, I'm not too concerned with just always saying, "Oh, I'm doing this," "Oh, I'm doing that," and all these different things. Because when it seems like you're doing so much, or you winning all the time, or you just constantly putting stuff out for it, I'm always on to something. People just get to see what you're doing. They rarely ever get to see you or get to know you. So when I come around family, I'm focused on the time that I do it. You know, we talk about different things and all of that. I haven't always been too self-centered as far with everything that I have going on. I'm very modest. I feel like people be gassing me up. I have a lot of confidence, but I'm really big on humility. You know, I feel like pride is downfall, arrogance is downfall, ego is detrimental. I don't know who needs to hear that, but ego is very detrimental. You know, always thinking about who you are, and I always say, who you think you are and who you actually are
two different people.
Okay, wait a minute now. You don't bust two like major things at first. Then say it again.
Who you think you are and who you actually are two totally different people.
And what does that mean?
It means that I can think I'm this, I can think I'm that. I can know what I want to do. I can have this construct in my head about who I want to be, who I am, all these things. But I can also walk in a room and be perceived completely different by somebody else. You know, so it's not always about who you think you are or what you think about yourself. Sometimes it's okay to be open to other people's perspectives of you or how they view you and how they see you. Because if you don't have any awareness, then you're just gonna be the same throughout your life.
There you go.
What was I about to say? Thank you all for joining us. We are speaking with Phaariq and he
Phaariq.
Phaariq, yeah,
Phaariq.
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 And, he is a producer, actor, director, and
Yeah, so I sing, I dance,
Get
I
a note
act.
for us. Do an A and B selection.
Hold
Do an A and B selection.
I don't know about today, but so I sing, I dance, I act, I produce, I direct, I write, I live, I laugh, I love. Like it's just I view, I feel like we all have more than one talent or ability, and it's very important to expound on that. You don't have to always stick to one thing. You might be good at another thing, and you might, take off with that. You can't be too closed off to just what you want to do all the time. You got to be open, and that was how I realized that I had more than one ability or more talent or anything that I could grow and get better at. So with the name Phaariq, it represents who I am as an artist overall, so.
Because they were probably noticing that when we post you, we never put a name. Never put a name. We just list your credits.
Right. But the people that know me personally, they know me.
Yes,
You know who I am. But I'm in the process of doing a rebrand and just kind of presenting myself in a different way that allows me to do everything I want to do at a bigger capacity, at a more
There you go.
Capacity. That's continued growth and development. Okay. That's why I said I started off my YouTube channel as Frugal Mama Boys, but when I realized I had change, and I said, I might not just be a mother of boys because we may expand our family. Now that I'm married and different things like that, I switched it up a little bit. You grow, develop, and move on from there, right? So, Tasha, you have.
Yeah, I wanted to.
She's been having questions.
Yeah, and I had to contain myself.
It's so funny because, like he said, when we are together as family, it's like you, and he's around like major celebrities like all the time, and then when we get together, it's like just chill.
Yeah.
So,
a lot of people were probably wondering, how did you get your first acting job? What did you do?
Oh, sheesh.
First off, what was it? What was your first?
So my first debut acting job performance was actually All Rise. So that was more of a debut. As far as acting roles and stuff in the beginning. So when I went to Prairie View, I also would go to like Austin. There was a TV show called The Leftovers. It was on HBO. First thing I did when I realized like, okay, I wanna do acting too. I want to be a producer. I kept researching and I was like, being an actor is a way to become a producer too. An actor can break through and then before you know it, you see them directing things, you see them producing shows and stuff like that. So I kind of considered it from both sides. And I was just like, what could I get into? So I found an agency in Houston, Page Parks, Center for Acting and Modeling. Shout out to Page Parks. That's where I got my start. Those are the people who really took a chance on me and believed in me in the beginning as far as getting with an agency. But before that, I had I had to have something to show for it, so I would be in class, you have to do their classes. And then, so I started out doing background work for the HBO show, The Leftovers. I think maybe like my first or second day, I met Regina King because she was on the show at the time. Oh, wow. We sat in this church scene. I was just in the background. She's up in the front. They had all the primary actors in the front. And then they had us as a church congregation on the show. This was season 2 of The Leftovers. And I think that was when I really that was my first time on the actual set in Austin, Texas. Oh, wow. So that was my first time. I realized like, okay, they do this all day. You got to try not to fall asleep. You got to try to stay awake. You got to try to be lively. They might do this 75 times in the next hour for this one scene, but you got to keep the energy up. And it really, really taught me a lot. I was able to bring, a couple friends and homies with me at the time to be on set and just be background and stuff like that. So we would just travel back and forth from Prairie View to Austin.
Wow.
So just hitting it, And I did that for probably about 5 or 6 episodes of that season. Just doing background. I would get paid. You don't get paid then and there, but they mail you a check about a month.
Okay. So you better not need it. I'm gonna need gas to get back.
Yeah. So I was in school full time at Prairie View, and then doubling back, trying to do school and acting in Houston, and also branching off, breaking off to Austin to do background work, and that's kind of how it really all started for me.
And then after All Rise, what you went into?
So, yeah, we got into some stuff. You want me to like talk about All Rise and how it came about? Because that was last year. I mean, that was 2021. That was I had been pursuing acting for probably about 5 years before that.
Yeah.
I didn't do my first actual audition until 2016. Once I moved to LA, I had my first audition in LA. So I started auditioning, and it got tough because I was just like, you have to learn how to take rejection in a sense. You have to learn how to be able to be told no or not hear anything back. You have to program yourself. And I think what helped me is I would watch interviews like Brad Pitt or George Clooney. And George Clooney's like, when I walk in, I do this audition or I'll do it once. And hey, if I'm for them, I'm for them. If I'm not, I'm not. Like, I'm not going to keep trying to do it a whole bunch of times. Okay. It's a one and done. You either want me or you don't.
Period.
So I once he said that, and then Brad Pitt, he was rejected. I mean, like thousands of auditions probably before he got his lead role in the 90s. And yeah, it's kind of something you got to stick with. You can't fall out as far as, ain't nothing taking off. So I'm going to try something else or I'm going to give up, because you never know when you might get that yes, right? So when I had so many no's, and the time that All Rise, the audition came, I'm like, okay, here we go. I got to do this. I was not in LA at the time, so I had an audition for All Rise. I got it while I was sitting at my aunt's house, my aunt and my uncle. And yes, right? So I'm like, I'm just enjoying family. I think we was getting ready for church the next day or whatever. Just, being around my family. They live out of the city, so we have to travel there to visit them. We don't get much time with them. And I'm sitting there, and I get hit with an audition, but it's not for All Rise. It's for something else. And I'm like, okay, how am I do this? I'm so used to going to a studio in LA. They charge you like $15 just to do a tape. You can go do your auditions quickly, 30 minutes, and be done. And since I was out of town at the time, I didn't have any resources to shoot it, so all I had was my computer. By the grace of the one above, my aunt and my uncle just so happened to be pastors and reverends. So this was a time with the pandemic, so they were shooting from home. So they had already had a studio set up.
Ooh, look at God!
Everything. But I hadn't got the All Rise audition yet. I was about to work on this other audition. And then my agency calls me and they like, hey, did you see the audition? I'm like, yeah, I'm about to do it now. It's due like in a day. And she's like, no. She was like, no, you got another one. And I was like, huh? She was like, yeah, for All Rise. And I was like, okay, I didn't see it. Let me go look at it now. She's like, yes, it's due in 15 hours.
Oh, wow.
You gotta stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready. Yay!
And I'm like, sometimes I think we can start to be like, okay, I'm not prepared for this. I just got this. I got to do it in a certain amount of hours. I got to learn the script. And then I'm reading the description. They talking about it's emotion. You got to cry. You got to shed tears. You got to bring all of that. So I'm like, dang.
In 15 hours.
In less than 15 hours. So I'm like, what am I going to do? And I had decided, like, okay, we're going to do it upstairs. We can do it after church, whatever. And they had everything. I mean, I'm talking lights. I was so grateful. And it really showed me that sometimes timing is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up I did both of them. I just got it out the way. But here's the thing. My computer started tripping. I ended up submitting the audition almost an hour late, past the deadline. I personally, I don't want to say hate because that's a strong word. I personally disliked my entire audition tape. I mean, I watched it and I was like, oh, this is trash. I was like, this is garbage. Because I didn't have any, I felt so unprepared. I'm so used to like, okay, let me get everything together and I can do it like that. But if I'm not prepared, it takes a different toll on me mentally, because then I feel like I can't give my all, or I can't do whatever. So I kind of just did it. I felt like it was horrible. The computer was tripping. I had to submit it like 3 or 4 times. I think I ended up messing up like with the editing and stuff, so I had to resubmit it. And it was so frustrating the entire time while I was there. I just submitted it and I just threw my computer back. I was just like, this is just
It is what it is.
It's just another audition. I try not to think about it anymore after I do it. So I'm enjoying my family. We finish up church. We're about to head back to get on the road, and we leave. I'm in the car with my grandparents, both of my grandmothers. I have a grandmother and a great grandmother, and we were riding back to go home so I could get back to LA. And I'm like, you know what? I done had a long day. I'm gonna have to take a nap. I'm gonna sleep on this road. It's about 3 hours. I'm just gonna sleep. My phone kept ringing. So I'm like, who's calling me? Answer the phone. It's my agency. She's like, hey. I'm like, hey. She's like, so it's looking like they're interested in you, but I don't know yet. I don't want to get your hopes up, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay. I was like, really? I was kind of in disbelief. I stayed in disbelief the entire time. And I was like, okay. I was just anxious to get off the phone so I go back to sleep. I think I had programmed myself to start
expecting disappointment.
I was just like, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. Because when you get your hopes up too much and then they come crashing down, it's just you and them dead hopes. So I was just like, you know what?
Snuggled up.
Yeah, snuggled up. So I was just like, it is what it is. And she called me. And I was like, we had that conversation. I got off the phone. I went back to sleep. I'm like, I'm still not getting my hopes up. Like, she called me again. She's like, hey, they just have a couple questions as far as COVID and all of this and all of that. She was like, the producers haven't decided, but the casting director is sold on you. It's just the producers that have to decide if you're good for the role. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'll talk to you later. Like, I'm going back to sleep. So we're driving. About an hour go by. I'm sleeping good too. She called me again. She's like, hey, so yeah. She's like, you got it. Congratulations.
How dang, I
So-
didn't know it happened that fast. That was
Right.
Yeah.
And I had, like I said, it was a thought that was long gone for me. So I felt a little desensitized to just the entire process of her telling me. So when she's like, oh, you got it, and I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah. She's like, they're gonna reach out to you and blah blah. The whole time they're thinking I'm in California. And I'm like in a whole different state. So I'm like, oh, snap. Again, by grace and mercy, I just so happened to be leaving the next day.
Oh
Because
wow.
my trip was pretty much over. So I already had a flight out in the morning or whatever. And they was like, yeah, you got to get COVID tested and all this different stuff. And she was just like, I'm so proud of you. And I'm glad that you just kept going and we believed in you for a reason. Because they took a chance on me. It's my agency. They really took a chance on me.
Is this the same agency?
No. So when I got to LA, I realized that I was going to have an agency in a different market. Because my first agent was in Texas. They could only do so much.
Right.
I realized before I graduated, I'm like, okay, it might be a little harder to take off in Texas versus going to cities that are incentivized for film and television and all the other things. And yeah, so I just found an agency in 2019. They just so happened to take a chance on me in Los Angeles. And I got with them and, they asked me to do what I need to do and I did everything. So they started, the audition started rolling in. So she was just like, thank you for your patience as far as just going to the auditions. Cause like you guys know, I work in film and television already. So I'm doing 12 to 15 hour days on set, working in production. I started in production when I got to LA, and you just get hit like, hey, you got to audition in an hour. And that's
pretty much
That's it.
mind you, I'm in the middle of our entire schedule for shooting for whatever show I was working on at the time. And it's hard. It's really hard because what am I gonna do? Just walk leave and go to the audition and come back? It don't work like that. So I had already committed to a job and I was so under pressure when I first got with the agency because they were like, we're working to get you through the door. And they had threatened me. It got so bad to the point where I was threatened. Like, if you don't go to this audition, you're going to get dropped because we worked so hard to get you through the door. And you not showing up is like a slap in the face. So I'm like, dang, I just had to figure it out. And it put a lot of pressure on me. But that's what taught me how to be prepared in any situation when they come up. So back to the All Rise thing. So I was in the back seat and I want to say she was like, it's looking like you got it. Because I didn't get the actual confirmation of the booking until later that night. But she was like, 99% you got it. Congratulations, whatever. So I'm like, okay, it's been confirmed. Y'all, I'm sitting in the back seat. I'm like, you ever had that internal whimper, like you just got a whooping or something, or your parents just discipline you and
they tell you not to cry?
Yeah, you better not.
You better not cry.
You better not shed one tear. So I'm in the back seat. I'm like, but I'm like, my family in the front, they kind of looking back, like, is he all right or whatever? And I think I was trying so hard just not to break down.
Show emotion.
Yeah, show emotion. So I was like, man, I couldn't believe it. And I was just in disbelief the entire time. Even after I got it, I was still in this. It was like I wouldn't allow myself to believe it. And my parents was like, hey, you work too hard for that. Why you psyching yourself out of it? So I had to get myself together. And I think just me landing that role, it really got me together. Because you might get a whole bunch of no's, but that yes might be waiting around the corner. And you don't even see it coming. You might not even feel like you giving your best. Like I said, I feel like it was one of the worst auditions of my life, but they were sold on me. So it really taught me a lot.
That's what I say on YouTube all the time. I say, you just keep putting out your content, keep putting out your content. It may not be for everybody, but you never know who may watch. You never know who life you may touch. So keep doing you.
I'm glad I kept doing me because I want to give up so many times. And I was just like, I'm over this.
Yeah.
There's room for somebody else. I don't think I'm cut out for this.
But what I like what you said is, like, when you said you're interested in it, you started researching the greats.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to put in that work so you have that background and you have that foundation. And so you build
that knowledge.
Yeah.
Like a tree planted by the water.
It became natural to me.
Is that a Negro spiritual?
No, Lord.
Okay, go. It became natural to me. I just started doing it as a kid, and it was like home, But it was something that really piqued my interest. So I stuck with it, and people always like, "How you know that actor name? How you know that actor?"
I know, right?
And all of this, and I'm in high school, knowing who's who and what they in, and y'all going to see that? Okay. I worked at a movie theater while I was in high school, so I constantly was seeing movies and stuff like that. So yeah, it just kind of became a force of habit.
So after that, you went into producing. What was your first production?
He went into producing first. Okay,
So it's a difference between producing and production.
Okay.
So when I moved to LA, I got my first production job as a production assistant on a show, and that's when I started working on set. So I moved to LA for acting, and all of that. But I kind of was just thrown to the wolves once I got an opportunity to just work on the show.
So you just went to LA. Did you already have a job?
No.
You just went to LA.
I didn't have no job. I didn't have no job. I was like,
You're like, Tommy, I ain't got no job.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna try to get a job. I had a plan. I'll be the first to say that plan was not good enough.
It wasn't.
The plan was
not all that.
I should have overplanned because right after I graduated school, I knew I was going to move to LA. I had already decided in my head, I'm like, I got to get out of Texas. There's not many incentives when it comes to Texas as far as advancement, like New York, LA, Atlanta. So I was just like, you know what? I'm moving. I ain't had no place. I didn't have nowhere to stay when I decided I wanted to move. I didn't know anybody. And then I just kind of started, meeting people over the internet and stuff like that. It was like, okay, cool. So I ended up working out where I was going to stay at. When I first moved to LA, I moved into a house full of dancers.
Stripper dancers?
No, I moved into a house full of dancers,
contemporary.
Contemporary.
yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
dancers that want to go on
Like,
tour.
those actors in the household.
Dancing, not strippers. I moved into a house full of dancers, and just dancers who want to go on tour with Chris Brown. They have aspirations or whatever. So I'm the only person in the house that's not a dancer. It was bunk beds. I mean,
how you even find them?
I think the people I was getting acclimated with
Yeah.
at the time were just like, hey, you're moving to LA, we're gonna move here. So I kind of just ended up in like a friend group of people that I had knew but didn't really know.
Okay.
So they was like, yeah, we're gonna move here or whatever. And really that was the only option as far as doing it. I had never been out on my own, just like in an apartment and all of that. I was in college dorms and Brookside and all these other things like apartments. So I didn't have what you would normally have moving to LA. Plus I'm 22 at the time. No, I had just turned 21. Yeah, so I was 21 at the time. It was a lot that I still didn't know. I had to save some coin. That wasn't enough. Whatever I thought I had as cushion, it wasn't a cushion. It was more like a sock.
Okay.
It's more like a little sock.
Like a cook.
Just like a cook. So I didn't really have. I started out good, but here's the thing: I drove my car from Texas all the way to California. Took a friend with me. Once I got there, not 4 days later, my car was towed.
Oh.
So I was sandwiched on the freeway. I had a car that hit me from the back and a car that hit me I just was sandwiched. Somebody hit all the line of cars and we all just damaged. Yeah. My car was totaled and life just got crazy. After that, it started to get really crazy. I think the next day I went to the gym. It's like 4 days. I'm in fresh in LA. I'm a fresh I don't know
Fish
what they
out of
call
water.
themselves, yeah. But I'm fresh, and I mean, somebody stole my phone at the gym. So I got a total card.
You
and
went
a stolen
through.
phone. And yeah, I was
And
that
a
bad.
cook.
And a cook.
The cook was going bad.
A cook in my pocket. So yeah, I was really bad. And by the grace of God, there were people who looked out for me in a sense, and I'm grateful for them. So I was thinking like, man, I'm gonna fail at this. But like I said, timing is everything. Situations you go through, they happen for a reason. So I just try to look at it like that.
Thank you all so much for coming in. We are speaking with Phaariq, and he's a Fort Worth native, Fort Worth, Texas native, alumni of Prairie View A&M University, and we gave us all his credits: director, producer, actor, dancer, just all around guy.
Singer. He's gonna do an A and B selection later.
So if you all have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We will
sure.
definitely add. So okay, you said there's a difference between the producer and the production. So tell us, kind of the difference, because when I just kind of overheard somebody say he's on the set of Love and Hip Hop. I said Love and Hip Hop, okay, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then, but when you come home, nobody want to fan out, do all that kind of stuff, But I was sure wanting to be nosy. But anyway, tell us more about the difference between production
and producing. So that was actually my first production job. So that was like the people I moved in with, I was having a really hard time with them because we ended up leaving the dancer's house, moving up into an apartment and all this. It got really bad, turned into a toxic living situation. it was just bad. But I was working at Olive Garden at the time. I've always been a server. So I served coming out of high school. I served all the way through college. I worked in the restaurant industry for probably like 7 years. So I just got into serving out there. I
didn't even know that, but I can see that. Like,
it's really what made me a people person. It kind of forced me to be a people person because you serve so many people. I was like a breakfast server, so I worked at IHOP, Cracker Barrel. I mean, anywhere you can name. And
people grumpy in the morning, so you can deal with them morning.
Yeah. So
people grumpy in the morning and drunk at night. Lord have mercy. That's the spectrum. Okay.
That's how I go. So yeah, I had just got some jobs to just, like to get the ushin to the cook that I already had. And I got hired at like a BJ's Brew House and Olive Garden. I was gonna work both at the same time. They were like an hour away from each other.
And did you have a car again?
I ended up getting a car. I ended up getting another car that was the identical car to the car that got wrecked. And they screwed up the deal because of my insurance. So, sometimes when you get into an accident, your insurance, you go through the process with insurance and then you try to get another car. But sometimes they have to wait for the insurance to pay out and all these different things.
Yeah.
We just did it before the insurance kicked in. And my insurance at the time was garbage.
It was garbage.
So it just ended up, the deal ended up being real screwed up. So I had the car for maybe like a couple of weeks and I had to go give it back and get my down payment back. So long story short, I ended up in another car that was a lease. I had never been in a lease before. So I did end up getting a car not too long after that, about a few months. And I would work at Olive Garden, come home to the apartment that we got. And one of my roommates one day was just like, hey, we going to this episode, Love and Hip Hop or whatever. We just going to be extras. Do you want to go? And I'm like, well, I'm off tomorrow. So, shoot, why not? Why not? I ain't got nothing to do. I ain't even like it. So he's just like, I'm about to go somewhere with y'all. Because what we was going through at the time, I wasn't rocking with them, but they invited me. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to just go. Whatever, we live together, whatever. So I went. We ended up going to, I think, just an episode that was the beginning of a season. And it was like a, little pool scene. I was an extra. We were all extras just sitting in the background. And yeah, so I'm like, well, now would probably be a good time to network. So we were just kind of sitting there throughout the day. We showed up for the scene. And I kind of got cool with, just production. I was like, one of the dudes, he was real cool. He was talking to us, giving us drinks and stuff like that, just to drink. And I was like, hey, I just moved here. I just got out of school. I'm a producer. Well, I'm trying to get into production and all of that. So here's my number. If y'all ever need anybody, I just really had it was just like a real network kind of thing, and we kind of just kicked it that whole day. It was just talking. He was like, all right, people say all right, but you never really know. You never really know. So I'm like, okay, cool. I feel like I did something. And they actually didn't call me till probably like 3 months later. Yeah, it was like, hey, we need somebody. Can you show up tomorrow? And I was like, I guess so. Yeah. So yeah.
You had a car and everything.
Yeah,
you had a little cushion in you.
Olive Garden had pissed me off, so I was done
so
with
you was
them.
good.
Yeah, we was good. So
out of there anyway.
Yeah, so I was figuring out my next move, like what's my next job. Just trying to figure out how am I gonna find an entrance. And he called me. He was like, hey, we need somebody to be there. Can you, just come? You be a PA and all this production assistant. I'm like, okay, cool. So I get there, and from that moment on, I was pretty much just thrown to the wolves. And I would work like 2 days a week, so it wasn't nothing permanent, And then they started probably the end of the summer. They was like, hey, we need somebody more frequent. So I started showing up more, working more. And then at the end, they pretty much decided to bring me on permanently. So it was kind of just like a foot in the door, and you just work. You work and you show that you're good at it. I had never been in production before. I had never been a production assistant. I ain't never worked on a set. So I was like, okay, I got the ear set in my ear all wrong. Like you're supposed to put it in the back. I'm just it's in my pocket. Like I'm just like, yeah. And they're like, oh yeah, they calling my name, and I'm like, yeah, what's up? They're like, no, you don't talk about it. You're supposed to say copy. So I'm like, okay, copy. Then I started saying copy to everything. That's like, okay, not that much. Like, not
There's a limit.
Yeah, it's a limit. You ain't got to copy every single thing. Like you over here, copy. We're gonna start calling you copy. So it was just a lot of things to learn, and I got into it, and that's really where it started for me, production wise, and getting into producing and all of that, because if I would have never gone to that scene, if I would have been like, nah, I ain't fooling with y'all today, I don't care to kick with y'all, that would have changed my entire life. It would have changed the trajectory of my entire life. And that was pretty much how I landed the opportunity.
So you went from 2 days a week to how many seasons were you on Love and Hip Hop?
3.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about. You never know. And like I said, networking can take place any place. I mean, anywhere. And so, excuse me. Now, you went to a school for acting, and what? Tell us more about that.
Okay, so
you can. Let
me tell you.
Okay, somebody else had a question. The audience had a question. Okay, yeah. The audience had a question. Do you have a YouTube channel? And like, how do? Like before anybody leave or anything, how do they find you on your social media? We'll say it again,
Okay. So I'm gonna be upfront with y'all and transparent and let you guys know that I am in a rebrand. I have not been active on social media probably since the end of the summer. So I'm gearing up for to get back at it and get into a launch. I'm still on Instagram. It's like I'm on Instagram, but I'm not on Instagram. It had been deactivated, but you can find me on there, Instagram, Phaariq. It's the same name. Same with Twitter.
Could you spell Phaariq for him?
It's in the,
it's on there.
Yeah, I know I can't see. I got my glasses on.
Yeah, Phaariq. So you can add me on there as far as Instagram. I will be back on social media at some point. I ain't gonna tell y'all when, but I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I bet you thought you saw the last of me. Nah. So yeah.
Is that an audition?
No. No. That was already on TV. So when I watch TV a lot, I watch TV and movies nonstop. For the past few years, I think I've seen every movie that comes out. Up until the pandemic, and I was like, okay, I'm a little tired. I just want to see what I want to see. But I will watch the entire year, every movie that came out. I will watch, or almost every TV show. What really piqued my interest, I would watch and always do like little stuff from that. Just if it was anything that I liked, or like I was a huge fan of American Horror Story at the time. And yeah, so that's kind of where that came from. So I just whatever inspired me or whatever. So that's just what I do. But yeah, I'll be back on social media. As far as YouTube, YouTube is coming.
YouTube is coming.
I've never done YouTube before, but I've been recently put onto it, and as far as just considering it, doing it. And I mean, you've been consistent. I'm really proud of you because you've been going and going and going, and you've been consistent. So you really showing me like, you could do it. I mean, there's kids on there reviewing toys, getting thousands and millions of dollars. So
games, all of that.
So I am definitely gearing up for YouTube. If you follow my social medias, you'll see the whole YouTube thing. I got something that I'm planning for that. So.
What's up?
So if you need an actress, I'm available. I'll have my people call yours.
Okay, so going back to the acting school or the performing arts.
Yeah, so Page Park's Center of Modeling and Acting. That was one of the places I found. When you want to act, I'll let people know this because people might say, I'm a model or I'm an actor or I want to do whatever.
Because that's where I thought you were going with it. Because you had just such a style. Like, I mean, like show-stopping style. And I'm like, because, we having Thanksgiving and Christmas, and you coming in like, okay, whoa. I thought you was going to be a model or something. Not even going to say pretty hair. Your hair is like. Right.
Kim asked the question. She said, when does the tickets go on sale for the release of?
Oh, for the show. Okay.
Oh, wait, man, look.
We're going to save that. I'll answer your question, but that goes into my title now and just being an artist and Phaariq and Phaariq show and just all that. So we'll get into all that.
Okay.
Because I'm curious now.
Me too.
So yeah, see, I tend to say see you soon a lot. I'm sure you guys see that a lot. Yes. See you soon because I'm in the process of rebranding. So that's kind of like my little tagline right now. Say, see you soon.
Okay.
See you at the show. The show is coming. It's on its way. Some of y'all get tickets. Some of y'all come. Some of nah, okay.
We don't leave that one out.
Oh my bad.
In reality, but truthfully, the show is for everyone. So some people get tickets, and some people don't need tickets. Like family, everything. You know what you need tickets for? Come on in.
Come on in.
So that's just a figurative way of speaking on what I have planned coming up and what I'm trying to do. Like I said,
Manifest
just
it.
Man,
put
I'm
it on
excited.
capacity and just who I am as an artist. So we'll get into all that. But I wanted to answer your question as far as acting and whatever. So the modeling, I know you said about modeling. People always say that,
Yeah.
you know, like, oh, you a model, or yeah, he a model, and I'm like, no, I'm not a model. Like you know, you take pictures. You can take pictures. I know a lot of people have gotten into taking aesthetically pleasing pictures for Instagram, and you call yourself a model. But the truth is you're not a model until you are with the agency. You're not a model until you are signed and you have representation. And once you have that, then you're an official model because you have the ability to get booked for different things. You have an agency that represents you, just as well as acting. You're not an actor until you get with an agency. You're not considered a real actor until you get with an agency. Now, some people take off without the agency. That's not to say that people can't still aspire, but as far as the official title of an actor or a model, you have to get with an agency.
But that's
You
good. A
have to
lot of
find
people didn't know that.
You have to find representation. You can't just walk into an audition you hear about and be like, yeah, so I'm here.
Where do I stand?
Yeah, so when do I start? No, it's not like that. There are talent searches and things like that to where you don't necessarily need an agent. You can submit online. Like I said, I was doing background work. So you don't need an agency to get on set because you can do anything. You know, I worked on set and I did background on set, which was working on set. So I've kind of done both sides, which is the funny thing about it. But yeah, as far as modeling, I do plan to get into modeling because people have been talking about it way too much. They talking my ears off about that. So I'm like, you know, let me try to see. Let me try to make something shake. Don't quote me, but we'll see about that. But
Get
with
your
acting,
ticket.
yeah, get your ticket. That's all you need to know. Get your ticket. But with acting, I found Page Parks. I did research like I always do, and just I found different agencies. And Page Parks was actually a school, so you know you could go to class and then get with the agency. I couldn't just go in and get an agent like that. I had to attend class. I had to pay for class, and then I had to audition with the agency just like any other job. So I was at Page Parks for I think my last 2 years of college. I was doubling back full time in college, driving out to Houston, trying to make acting class on time. And they have a showcase that you can do where they have a model showcase and they have an acting showcase. That's usually how it works in the industry as far as being discovered or finding an agent. So my teachers and my directors were like, you know, why don't you do the showcase? And I'm like, well, I'm only 3 classes in, you know, like I still got to be consistent. They're like, no, you know, just do it or whatever, take a chance on it. And I'm like, okay, cool, I'll do it. And they're like, okay, yeah, it's like $1,200. And I'm like, oh, all right. So I figured it out. I did the showcase. I ended up doing the showcase right before I graduated from Prairie View. I had the showcase like that summer. I picked what monologue or what script I wanted to do, and I went in there. I did it, and yeah, I pretty much got maybe like 3 agencies that were interested in me at the time, and then I ended up going with Page Parks because they were interested in me too. They never told me, but they were interested in me from the moment I started with them. They're not gonna tell you. You have to work for it. You know, in a sense.
Yeah.
So once I did that, you know, they was like, we actually want you to. They gave me the list of agencies that was interested in me. And yeah, I just ended up going with them because I started with them. So
Loyalty.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much how that started.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
And you was talking about a lot of people think that when you're getting into acting and trying to find an agency,
Yeah.
you need a portfolio, like
Yes.
photos.
Yes. So once I started doing class, they were like, you know, you gotta get headshots and all that. So they pretty much set up the headshots for me. And I did my headshots. So they help you get all that together. If you find a good place, they will nurture you in the sense of just expanding on your talents and making sure you're prepared, you have a portfolio. It's the same way with modeling. They'll get you on, you know, they'll get you in model class, you do catwalks, teach you how to walk like a model, get you a what is it called? A comp card. I never knew that models had comp cards. and that's pretty much like a card with all of your pictures from your portfolio that companies can see or showcases can see. And yeah, they that's how they decide if they want you or not. You give them a little variety. So they pretty much helped me out with that, and that's kind of how I got started, getting accustomed to what I need to do. As far as when I got with another agency, I already kind of knew what to do and what needed to be done. So yeah.
Next, and after Love and Hip Hop, where did you?
So yeah, that show just in general, it took a toll on me. So it took a lot of time away from me acting and pursuing acting. Like I said, I moved out there to pursue acting. I had already gotten preparation, and I was thrown to the wolves. And I mean, I'm working 12 to 15 hours a day, nonstop.
Is this every day?
Every day, Monday through Friday. I mean, if you watching TV, you rarely can tell how long the season is shooting.
Yeah.
Like their shooting schedule. Some TV shows shoot from like January all the way to December. You know, and like they have their certain schedule of when they shoot. So once you commit to it, it's just work. You're working nonstop. And I was so tired. By the time the weekend came, I didn't want to do nothing. You know. So to be honest, acting really got put on the back burner just so that I could work and make a living and in a sense survive. You know, I had to make sacrifices. I had to compromise, and it really bothered me for a long time. But you know, everything eventually pans out, and yeah. So I pretty much was just consistent with them, and I was working with them for a while, about 3 seasons up until 2019. So yeah, it took a lot of time out of my schedule. But if I had never worked for a certain show, I would have never gotten another opportunity to actually become a producer, and that's where the difference comes in. Okay. You can get hired on a set, and you can be a production assistant. You can branch off, start working locations. You can branch off, start working grip and lighting. That's pretty much how they set up the lighting and stuff. But it's different than actually being a producer. So I have executive producers and showrunners and everybody who are over. Those are our bosses in a sense when you start at the bottom. And yeah, now I've kind of graduated, so I'm an actual producer now. You know, like I'm an actual producer. It feels really good to say that I'm a producer, because you can say it, but you have to get the credit. You know, if you don't get the credit, then you can say you're a producer, but it'll be hard to get in the door with certain stuff.
Okay, so tell us the difference between what does a producer do? Because we know you see producer, executive producer, director. I'm like, I don't
supervisor, producer, story producer. I mean, there's different departments even for producers. But the difference is really just the totem pole. Your responsibilities are different. Your executing is different. I could be a production assistant. Like I said, I started out as a production assistant in reality television. You can do that, but that's more like, okay, you making sure the set is clean. You picking up trash. You're putting up with cast members. You might be driving them around. You might be, they want coffee. You might have to go to Starbucks and get it. You pretty much do runs wherever they tell you to go. Pick this up, pick that up. It's different. But when you're a producer, you have a hand in how the show comes about as far as execution wise. So you are the person that's dealing with the talent, trying to schedule them, trying to get the scene scheduled, trying to find locations, trying to make sure that the network is pleased. It's a whole different level. It's different things that you do. Yeah, it's different responsibilities. And when you become a producer, it's at a higher level, and it's still chaos. It's always chaos in production. But I think me joining such chaotic things or chaotic sets, it taught me a lot just as a PA. Because I mean, I'm on sets that's canceling scenes in the middle of the day, or you know, we're dealing with certain cast members who can't make their scene because they're too inebriated, or just different things that kind of turn into chaos, and then it's like your day ends up longer than it was supposed to be. You end up going into overtime because everybody's so behind, and it's just a lot of chaos. But I think throughout all of that, I learned how to be still. You know, like everybody run around like chickens with their head cut off. But y'all not getting my head. You know what I'm saying? You get, I'm not doing that.
But
So,
I can see how that's exhausting.
and it was hard at first because it's an attitude thing. It gets your attitude in check. You have to be professional. You can't just do what you want to do all the time. You can't say what you want to say all the time. You got to move a certain kind of way once you are in that field. And yeah, it really got my attitude in check, because you might have cast members or different people that's giving you stress, and you like one day you like, you know what, I've been taking this, but I might have to catch you in that back alley after we wrap this scene. I might have to go ahead and you might have to run me my fade or whatever. But you can't think like that. You really have to learn how to handle anything that comes your way, no matter how you personally think about the situation. So it taught me a lot, just as far as being solution based. Find a solution. Don't let all of us sit here we going back and forth, and now we losing time, we losing daylight, we losing everything else, we're losing money, and it just it puts more pressure on everybody. So the more pressure the higher ups have, like actual producers, the more pressure you gonna get just starting out, you know. So it's tough. It really did teach me a lot. So
now, as far as directing, how do you? Do you walk in? The people like, okay, do XYZ, boom, 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 everybody. I would get. I don't know. My nerves is real bad. I'd be like, I'd be like, ugh. I don't know.
Right. It really depends on the director. Like, I've met directors who are good. They come in, they can see a room and be like, okay. They start doing camera blocking. They know how they want to shoot it. And then you have other directors who they're just distracted. You know, they kind of do whatever they want to do. And you always know who's a good director and who's not, because they will be talked about the entire day.
Oh, by the cast?
By everybody. By everybody. Yeah, that's just what it is. And it's just like, oh gosh, you know, like, okay, this person coming in, we got this director. They're gonna make our day hell. You have those other directors like, I'm ready to go home. Let's get it done. And they have just those minds that are just like that, and with the creativity, and they're an outpouring of productivity. And that's just, so it really depends on the directors, what kind of director you get as a person, what kind of director you are as a person, how your work ethic is, as far as everything with that. So the director can make your day great, or he can make your day a living hell. It just depends on who he is, you know. So you come in with, as far as directors, and I recently just got into directing. I've directed a few things, and it's not easy.
Yeah,
it's completely different. I think because I've worked so many different roles in film and television, getting accustomed to becoming a director is kind of just like you taking everything and you have to find your own way to execute, you know? So I've had the opportunity to direct 2 music videos. One of them was already out, but the other one, I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
See you soon. But yeah, I've directed so far like just a commercial and 2 music videos. So I'm wanting to get into more directing. I write a lot. I've been writing a lot. My biggest goal is to work for myself. Like, I work for people, but I don't really believe in working for people. I believe that you can work for yourself, and it's a way that you can create that works good for you. So I want to work for myself. I actually have projects that I want to put out. I've written TV shows, I've written movies, and I just want to do it from that top scale. So I really had to work my way up, and I'm still, in a sense, working my way up because of my age. A lot of the times seniority comes. So with me being a certain age, I can't just be an executive producer tomorrow. It's going to be based on my age. So a lot of other people get seniority just based on how long they've been in the game and stuff like that. But I'm working my way up, and I want to create more opportunities for underrepresented stories, underrepresented actors, underrepresented crew members, underrepresented directors, just whoever's underrepresented communities from a holistic aspect. I want to create more opportunities. So I want to be, Phaariq. I want to be. Some come on TV and you say written by Phaariq, created by Phaariq, directed by Phaariq, or produced by Phaariq, whatever. but yeah, that's my biggest goal. So you have people like Jordan Peele and all these other people who they have gotten to that level to where they can do their own thing, and that's one of my biggest aspirations.
Yeah,
Is to put my
what's her
own
name?
stuff out.
Issa Rae.
Issa Rae.
She was on YouTube.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, man,
So
boom.
these are the people who have inspired me to know that you don't have to spend your entire passion or your entire life just working for other people or trying to get your foot in the door. Sometimes we have to create our own doors and our own opportunities,
Yes.
and that way we can create opportunities for other people. So when I was in LA, I actually went to one of Issa Rae's first panels, and she talked about that. Just like I was on YouTube, I was broke, living out my car, and how HBO came about with Insecure and all of those different things, and it really inspired me. So that's my biggest goal.
We have a question from the audience.
y'all asking?
What type of schooling do you need to be a director?
So as far as becoming a director, if you know that you want to be a director, you would likely go to school and get a degree in film, a degree in filmmaking, a degree. Mass communication works or communication works, but you need something that's a little more specific as far as your field of work if you want to be a director. So you would, like me, I have my degree, but I was gonna get my master's once I moved to LA. And the program was for cinematic media, stuff like that. So if you want to be a director, that's what you would get into.
Okay.
Cinematic media, filmmaking, all of those different kind of things. And they have more programs that are tailored towards directors and line producers.
Yeah, because
and all
I can't
different-
imagine. I don't need
Yeah.
history and social study and all this kind of
nah.
stuff. Just give me the.
Yeah, they throw
my
you
God.
behind them cameras and be like, hey, do that right there.
So
So,
and it's
yeah, it's a lot of programs. If you just do your research, research is the biggest thing.
Yeah,
You
were
have to
talking
do
about
your
that just-
research, and you have to, if you want to know something, it's on you to find it out. You can't take other people's word for it, because you can get to LA, people will sell you a dream. Like they'll tell you, oh, I can do this for you, I can make you this, or we can do this, or you can work for me, or whatever.
Being got traffic.
But at
They be fooling around me.
you're right. You
being
be
El
in-
Segundo.
you got it
Too
right.
close to Tijuana.
Right.
Yeah,
You end
right.
up somewhere you don't want to be.
Yeah.
So you have to keep that internal thing, like, okay, I know what I want to do. Let me figure it out. I mean, every opportunity or everything I found out about was either based on research, and then once I got in the door, all of my opportunities outside of acting, producing wise, came from who I knew. It's always about who you know. You can have talent, but talent ain't really the forefront of the industry right now.
Yeah,
What
that's
you,
a
who
fact.
you know.
It's a lot of gimmicks. Everything is about. I mean, 15 minutes ain't even 15 minutes no more. It's 56 seconds.
Yeah.
You get your 56 seconds of fame, you go viral tomorrow, and then before you know it, it's somebody else the next day. Like you're here one moment, you go on the next. But as far as longevity, you have to do it a different kind of way.
Yeah.
And you got to find out what you want to do and do your research. Figure out what it is you want to do, and get on Google and don't get off. Get on YouTube. YouTube teach you whatever you want to know.
Okay.
They got all the
YouTube
information,
University,
right?
okay.
So it's really about researching that.
Yeah.
and figuring out. Like, I mean, there were so many things I researched. That's how I ended up at Page Park. That's how I started doing background. I just stayed on Google. How to be an actor, how to become an actual actor. And my biggest goal was to become SAG eligible, which is the union, Screen Actors Guild. That's how you get, once you get a principal role, like once you speak on camera, you get a role to where you're actually talking, then you become eligible to be in the Screen Actors Guild. So right now I'm in eligibility. I haven't joined yet. But once you get any kind of role where you speak, it's principal and you're eligible. So you can do union roles, you can do non-union roles.
Okay.
You can do whatever.
So is SAG is that a union or is it a it's a different union? I don't know.
It's a guild. I mean, it's a union. It's a guild. You have the Screen Actors Guild. You have the Writers Guild, the producers.
Oh, okay.
All of that. It's just a union for all of that. This, I mean, anything you watching on TV as far as theatrical or scripted or whatever, it's a union project. Some projects aren't union, like you have straight to DVD, or it really depends on what the project is, whether or not it's union or non-union. But anything on TV is definitely union.
So with that, you said after you get a speaking part, is it automatic that you'll be in it, or they still have to accept you?
You have to join.
You have to join.
You have to decide when you want to join.
Okay.
You're automatically eligible once
Okay.
you do that. So me doing all rise, that's what made me eligible.
Okay.
And that eligibility, it never goes away. Like it just stays how it is. But then you get to a point to where you get a bigger role, or you got something, you doing something that's requiring more of you. They're gonna push you to join, because I mean, it's for your own protection in a sense too.
Yeah, that's what's up. And so the number one thing I think is researching and tenacity, having tenacity, because drive, motivation, because it's a lot of no.
It's a
No.
lot of it's a lot of doors getting shut. It's a lot of, sometimes you gotta kick down. You know, you gotta keep trying, keep trying, and keep trying, and keep trying. And I think now that's what's the part that's getting tired, that gets tiring for people, is like, I haven't seen what I want to see, or I haven't seen the result that I'm looking for. So, you know, screw this. It is.
Yeah, a
what
lot
it
of
is.
people, I hear that a lot on YouTube. I'm like, this is my frame of reference, because people like, man, I don't get, I have a live stream, it's only one person there, and then blah blah blah. When I started live streaming, I had one person there. It was my friend from high school that I had talked to in 20 years, but she supported me. And then slowly over time, over the last couple of years, I've grown, and we over 2K now. Thank you. Shout out to all my members, all the subscribers, supporters, out the whole Stretch Nation, baby. Thank y'all. Appreciate your love and support. But it took that, and then like when I started working out, I said, I want to know more. I want to know how to get my body where I want it to be faster. I want to know how to engage in exercise recovery. So I went to school, started school. And so doing the research, what school do I want to go to? Why do I go to ISSA instead of different other whatever? So I understand that, getting that background. Hello, everybody coming in. Thank you so much.
There's a question also. Screen Actors Guild. Wow. So what speaking parts in high school or college would that be considered a speaking part, or have to be?
No, it's gonna be on somebody's set. Like, you gotta be. I mean, you could, if you shoot a scene that's in a high school or a college, but
it can't be.
No, it can't be that. It's gonna be you auditioning for something and them picking you and you getting booked for that role, and then that's when you eligible.
Okay, so I know, like, I was hearing some of the comedians on Instagram. They was like, okay, I guess before the pandemic, they weren't doing a lot of record this and then send it in. So what kind of other changes have you seen over?
Oh man, once the pandemic hit, everything turned into the internet.
Electronic.
So you
got
not
left
going,
behind.
You're not going into any casting director's office and auditioning. You're not going in there. Everything turned into submitting electronically. So even with All Rise, I had to submit electronically. So I had to film it, get it ready, and send it off to them. And that's kind of how it works now. Since the pandemic, it's changed a lot.
So I know, like, a lot of the reality shows, they be like, well, how many followers you have on this, that, and the third? Like, I mean, like,
I mean, even with the agencies I'm with now, you know, your social media comes into play. Some people want you to audition purely based on your social media or how many followers you have or whatever. We're looking for people with 30,000 Instagram followers.
Really?
Yeah, like that'll be the criteria sometimes, depending on what the audition is or what you get.
And what's the purpose of that?
Just to see the visibility you have.
If you're popular,
if you're popular, if you have a platform already that will be utilized.
That makes sense.
If you take part in this project, you can bring something to it, you know. So
people will watch you.
And those kind of things. So it just they looking for, hey, if you got clout, we need to see how much clout you got. You know, so that's how it works. Yeah.
It's a lot you gotta learn.
I know, right?
It is definitely a lot. It takes a toll on you.
Because some people will try to, get on film to gain the clout, but no, you bringing the clout nowadays.
You gotta already have
social media.
Yeah, and it kind of goes hand in hand. It's not always. It just depends on the project, who's running it, who's in charge. You know, whoever's in charge, what they want to do with all of that. So it's not always, but it's a balance. You will get that sometimes too for commercials or different brands or stuff like that. It goes hand in hand.
See that. And after you did the Love and Hip Hop, what was your next?
Man, since I had committed to them for so long, that was pretty much that was a good way to make a lot of my bread. Like, just and then too, they really liked my work ethic. So I was able to work my way up season by season. that was how I got on at the end of my the first season I did, and then that next season I was promoted. You know, I was able to have more of a key role and just keep elevating as far as that. And there were some things that went down that kind of played into me having to start fresh with them so many times because of just changes with production companies and stuff like that. All your hard work can go down the drain in an instant. And you might have to start from scratch, even with something you've already been working on. It just depends on the changes that come with the network and all those different things. So I had to start over a lot of times with them just because of new companies that would come on and just different stuff like that. Or this company's not doing it anymore. So all the people have been fired. So like yeah.
But see, because we from the audience perspective, we just see that it's still on that same channel. Right. You know, like them tune in.
You don't really know what goes down behind the scenes. You know, and it's certain stuff that can and can't be said. But there's a lot of changes that happen that can really affect where you are in your current position with everything. The good thing is that you meet so many people. That was how I was able to elevate, because of the people I met. If it wasn't because of the people I met, they wouldn't text me and be like, hey, this show is doing this. You interested? Can you do it? So that's really what happened. The more people I met, more opportunities came because of who I knew. And I tend to form a lot of my friendships, especially in Los Angeles, through work. Like, LA is real different as far as just meeting people and stuff like that. But I've met a lot of great people who I formed some really great friendships with just based on work. And they look out for me, and I'm blessed and I'm grateful for them because, I mean, even the thing, we haven't gotten, into March and all of that. But if I would have never worked for that show, I would have never done March. I didn't do March because I went to Prairie View. That wasn't how I got the opportunity.
No. See, I thought it was because you went to Prairie View.
No, I didn't even know what show it was before I was told about it, but I didn't have any idea what was going on. Didn't know the show, didn't know the network, didn't know nothing coming into it. So me getting the opportunity was based on who I had worked for before that. So you have producers who go on to, time just progresses and they go on to do different things. So a lot of the producers I had worked for ended up on that. Maybe one of them might have remembered if I ever said I went to Prairie View, but nobody knew that I went to Prairie View until I got there. Yeah, so that didn't come because I went to Prairie View. Me going to Prairie View had nothing to do with it. It was because of who I know, and it was a scary coincidence. That's what I call it. It was so scary because I'm like, dang, I went here. I went here, and they doing the show. They doing the show and all of this. So I was like, wow, but. Yeah, no, it wasn't. Me doing March had nothing to do with me going to Prairie View.
And Kim had a question. She said, what's the highest amount of followers you've have or had, and what platform?
Oh, so y'all want to get into that for real? So with Twitter, I want to say I've reached about 33,000 followers on Twitter. I've had multiple accounts due to just being targeted and all these different kind of things. I'll get into that in a second. But Instagram, I've reached about like 41,000 followers. And those were like my two main platforms. Like I said, I've never done YouTube. I might have had a Snapchat. I don't know how to work Snapchat now. So I think I had a Snapchat in college. And what else is there? I mean,
Facebook.
I mean, Facebook's more personal for me. So it's more,
it's like
family. We was the originators of Facebook. Like our generation, we gravitated from MySpace to Facebook.
Yeah.
Then the adults got a hold of it, and we was like, okay, I can only do certain stuff on here because your entire family on there. Yeah. So,
what about TikTok?
TikTok. So I'm getting into TikTok, and that's part of what the show pretty much is about. Just me doing it from all avenues. I'll be the first to say I was not raised by social media. So when TikTok came along, I'm looking at the interface and I'm like, I feel like I'm middle-aged trying to do all this stuff. For real. Like, I'm like, dang, I'm good at editing and all these. I did videos on Instagram for a while. But TikTok is like a whole different beast, you know. So I've been taking the time out to learn how TikTok works, the algorithm. You know, that goes into my degree, like mass communication. That's what really helped me kind of build my platform as far as the followers that I do have, is just knowing how audience integration works and all of those different kind of things. So I don't have a TikTok yet. TikTok is not here, but it's on its way.
It's on its way.
It's on its way.
Stay
So
tuned.
I'm
Get
not
your
on
tickets.
TikTok.
Look for Phaariq.
Look for Phaariq.
Look for Phaariq.
So
And that's what Panama City was telling me. One of the viewers right now said, I mean, like they was like, okay, it's the optimum time to post. I'm like, what? I just throw stuff out there.
No, for
Let me
real.
put it out.
Like I said, once you get on Google,
yeah,
it tell you everything you need to know. They'll be like, oh, the best time to post on Instagram is a Monday at 9 p.m. Like they have just so many different, different schedules and stuff like that. So you really learn a lot. And I think I want to do TikTok at a level to where I'm able to do whatever I want to do with it. I don't want to try to stick with it, and I'm so busy with my own personal life and working and career and stuff like that. I don't necessarily have the time to dedicate to social media. You know, everybody's different. So for some people, social media is their forefront.
Yeah.
So that's their job. That's what they can do. That's their work. But with other people, they have other platforms, other avenues that they already work with. So it can be a little more difficult. And that's really where I'm at. Like I believe in stronger platforms. You know, social media hasn't always been around, and it's around now. You know, we have it at the expense of our fingertips 24/7. But I believe in other platforms. You know, I wanted to be able to pursue my acting, become a producer, and all these different things. You can't always do that from Instagram.
And I have a question. Do some of the producers or directors look at TikTok, YouTube, and see people like, I like
especially in reality TV, it plays a huge part into who gets casted on the show. So everybody auditions, even reality TV people. Y'all see they have audition tapes and all of that. But their interaction online, it plays a really, really big part on if they're chosen or not. Sometimes, depending on the show, you know, like different shows, that plays a really big part. So,
and a lot of the reality shows is based on drama. The more drama you have,
the more drama you have,
the luckier
the more
you
camera
are.
time you
Exactly.
get, the higher you get paid. I mean, that's just how it works. Some shows are just purely based on drama. If you got a dramatic storyline, they gonna make sure you in the camera 24/7. Or if you have a storyline that's really gonna pop. But a lot of people think reality TV is fake. You know,
you would say it's real. Like most of it's real.
I would say that reality TV is constructed. It's not fake. It's real. But there are people who have a hand in how it goes. Sometimes you can have people with a storyline. Like people can audition knowing their storyline is fake. So some people audition with fake storylines. Like, we pretending to be in a relationship. So you know, like different stuff. Like
they said that on married boot camp. They said that they wasn't even married.
I ain't never seen them together. I ain't never seen
they sleeping in the same house, but they married.
Yeah. So some people go on reality TV with fake storylines. But I think there's just a construct around reality TV and how it works. The story can be real. It's all about story. But there are things that are set in place to make it go a certain kind of way when it comes to being presented on television. So I used to hear that a lot. Oh, it's fake. It's fake. It's fake. Is it fake? That was the biggest question I always.
But see, I never thought it was fake. I just like you only seen drama.
Yeah.
And the reality shows that's still running today is full of drama. People backstabbing, people sleeping with everybody's wife or husband. You know, those are the ones that are still running 10, 15 years down the road. You know?
I guess you could say people thrive off drama. I mean, that's what sells.
Drama.
A lot of people, there are a lot of different even networks now as far as reality. Everybody want to see the fight. Everybody want to see, you know, just the crazy stuff. You could have a reality TV show that ain't got none of that. Nobody's gonna watch it.
Yeah.
So
it's like Real Housewives of Atlanta. I watch it just because I know it's gonna be some drama next week.
Which Real Housewives of Atlanta? Okay, I've seen it. Bravo, right?
It's always some drama.
It's always some drama.
Hey,
for sure.
Drama sales. I'm telling you. I mean, that's what we said. Same thing. It's like YouTube is like the new TV. I'm telling you, YouTube is the new TV, encyclopedia, everything is out there. And so, What was I about to say?
A lot of
like
the
the
content,
Yeah.
a lot of the content that gets a lot of views, and a lot of
Yes.
people,
Mhm.
it's like random, like, okay.
Yeah. And then another thing is everything is content now.
Mm-hmm.
It's rarely film and television stuff. Everything is about content, putting out content. I mean, you see a lot of shows on TV. They come, you never see them again, or you just like, dang, I like that show. What happened to it? Everything is about content now. So it's just like,
So do they pull some shows off because of the ratings, or
Yeah.
it's just not
it
doing
just
what they
always
thought it was?
depends. Ratings, the people behind the scenes, the budget. I mean, you would never know why a show got pulled unless somebody came forward and told you.
And
that's
it's
the
like a
reason.
good show. It could be a really good
Yeah, it'd be
show.
good. Yeah,
You like,
I'll be
there's
like,
not another
man.
season.
Yeah, you know, like there's no other season. They have different reasons as to why a show won't be back. Sometimes the network is in control. They might just ask the show.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us more about March on it's on
CW.
CW.
March
Yeah.
on CW. So March, outside of because I've produced music videos too.
Okay.
Working in reality TV, that was how I met people. I branched off. I started producing music videos. I did a video for one of Jay-Z's artists on Rock Nation, different record labels. I did a video for Ryan Destiny, Corday, YBN Corday, Big Crit, just a different kind of videos that I knew people that just brought me on, and I started doing it. As far as March came out of nowhere. I mean, I was literally supposed to go on a birthday trip to Cabo, and my passport didn't come in time last year, so I had to skip.
Blessing.
A blessing.
Okay. No, nothing happened.
But had I gone on the trip, March would have never happened for me. So it was somebody I worked with in reality TV who was a supervisor producer over me as a production assistant, like where I started. And they was like, yeah, you know, are you interested in doing a show or whatever? And it was like, they looking for a producer. I can drop your name in the hat or whatever. So at that time, I didn't know what show it was. I didn't even know the show. But I'm like, wow, okay. So now here's my breakthrough into being an actual TV producer. Like, it's one thing to produce videos and produce different projects. Like, I've done stuff for Complex. But actual shows on TVs and movies, it's a whole different lane. So yeah.
Wait, man, you say you did shows on Complex.
So I do Complex Con a lot. So I produce Complex Con. I handle all the talent for Complex Con. That's how I meet a lot of celebrities and stuff like that.
I don't even know
Who are
what
just
that
people-
is.
Y'all-
Tell
y'all
people
know
what Complex Con
is?
is. That where they dress up in characters? That's
That's
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con. That's Comic-Con.
Comic-Con cosplay. What did you talk about, Tasha? Come on.
So you have Comic-Con, you have BeautyCon, you have like these are conventions where people
Okay.
do
No,
whatever.
okay.
So Complex does their own Complex Con, which is basically just like an industry convention.
Okay.
Hip hop,
Okay.
you have hip hop brands, you have record labels, you have brands like Hennessy, Nike, all of the stuff that is us, you know, like as
Yeah.
far as industry,
Mhm.
hip hop comes together and they have their own convention.
That's dope.
Hip
Okay.
hop, fashion, and style, everything.
Mhm.
So it happens every year.
Mhm.
And again, me working on that show,
Mhm.
one of the production managers was, hey, they need this, that, and the other. So I put your name up, and you know, yeah. So it was just all about who I knew. I started doing Complex Con in 2019. I've been doing it every year since, besides the pandemic, because they didn't do it. But yeah, Complex Con, it happens every year, and you pretty much, it's just so much that goes on. Like I was in charge of the panels, so I had to get all the talent to the panels on time, whatever panel they were scheduled to do. And you know, I met so many people, so I always try to do Complex Con because that's the time of the year where everybody's in one room. I mean, rappers, artists, everybody. I mean, you could be at Complex Con and just walking around and running the usher or running a.
So anybody can go to Complex Con?
Anybody can go.
Oh, really?
And where is it held this coming up year?
So Complex Con is usually held in Chicago or Long Beach, California. So they have different locations.
What time of year? Like what normally?
Like November. Like it's coming up. It's next month.
Are you doing it?
I'm hopefully. Hopefully. I've already, you know, been talking to people. I just got the details about it not too long ago. I want to do it but other things are happening. So I pretty much am in that space to where I have to decide. I might not be in there ready to do it. So I'm in the process of figuring out if I'm about to move to a different city. So
What's the reason you're moving to a different city?
Oh, in your business. What? Okay.
Made for TV.
right.
Business
Coming
sales.
soon. What do you say? Coming?
Coming soon. Not well. As of now, it looks like I'm probably going to be moving to a new city next week.
Oh wow.
But if I do move, it'll be just solely based for work. So it's a potential show that I'm in the process of committing to at a higher level. So it's just kind of like, depending. Nowadays, it doesn't really matter what show it is for me. It really depends on the credit.
Mm-hmm.
If like I'm able to get in as a story producer,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to take that because with the age that I am, like I need that. I write. I want to have my own stuff on TV one day. How can I do that if I ain't never worked in story?
Exactly.
If I don't know how it works or if I've never worked in casting. So right now, I'm making it my goal to work in every department. So I know, of production. So I know how to make my own projects successful and keep them successful. So I've seen things that don't work, things that do work. You just kind of take it all with you. But yeah, right now I'm in the process of figuring out if I'm about to move to a new city in less than a week and commit to a new show.
So you speak well. We be like, oh well, yeah, you do.
Wow.
You speak well. So have you taken any like
No,
Yeah.
I'm actually I feel like it's weird to say that you ghetto. I'm not like I'm actually ghetto. No, I don't want to say that. But professional. So professionalism has taught me a lot. I'm educated, but no, I haven't taken any classes on articulation or how to speak or whatever. I want to.
Because
So
I'll be
can
like,
get better.
I would be reading them things, those scripts and all that kind of stuff. I'll be like, oh my Lord. So, but since the rise, I'll rise, since I'll rise, what's your latest work? Because we probably coming up on a closure in the next 20 minutes or so. What is your latest work and if you have anything you want to tell us about what you have coming up.
So after doing All Rise, I'm in another place to where I kind of had to take a break from auditioning. I did March. March came up. I started producing. The second day of me being on set at March at Prairie View, the showrunner wanted me to do another show after that in a different city, different place. So I ended up doing 2 shows back to back. He was like, I like your work ethic. I want to work with you on another show, and I ended up going to do another show. It's called The Cube. It should be out. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's already been shot. I'll tell you that. Okay. I relocated to an entirely different city to shoot it for about close to 3 months at the beginning of the year. Right. So when it airs, I don't have no control of when it come on TV. I just show up, I do my job. I dip.
And you get your check later.
No. I get paid every week. No.
Oh,
no.
okay.
It ain't no mail it to me.
No.
No.
I need to get paid when I'm working. It's different. Like again, it's different. You could be waiting on the check if you're at the bottom of the totem pole, but once you work your way up, my check is coming at the end of the week.
Need that. I need them coins.
Direct deposit.
Yeah. If you're not paying, you're not gonna see me.
That part.
So I did that. I did that show. It's a game show. It's called The Cube. It's on TBS. It'll be out soon. With Dwayne Wade is the host, and it was really cool. It was a really dope experience. So that'll be coming. I don't know when. It's a lot of stuff, and that was the thing with All Rise. Like when we shot All Rise, it was supposed to come out the next month, but it got pushed back like 3 months.
Right.
So I ain't even bother to say anything because I'm like, it'll come out when it's so many changes that happens behind the scenes that you really just don't say nothing until it's coming out, or until it's about the premiere or whatever. So, I've just been in the focus of working my way up as a producer. I want to be an executive producer. I want to be a showrunner. I want to create my own show. I've already created, a lot of my own stuff, my own content.
Yes.
So that's my biggest goal right now. I had took a break from acting because I was working so hard being a producer. So when the auditions come, it's just like, okay, like, I don't know. I'm still trying to find a balance, you know, as far as how to do everything at once. It's not easy. But yeah, so I'm doing that. Like I said, I did a music video where I directed last year as well. So I'm really just getting into everything. I want to keep doing music videos, working with artists.
How long do music videos actually take
to shoot? Not long. I mean, you can shoot an entire music video in one day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can shoot it in 2 days. A lot of music videos y'all see now were probably shot over a weekend, 3 days or less, because of the budget.
You just find the location.
You find the location.
The vehicles. Do you know people? Do you know
people? Well, see, me having already worked in production, that's what helped. Because now I know how to. I do locations. I can pretty much bring anything to life. You know. So once I started producing music videos, I pretty much had all the tools to execute it. So I had already knew equipment companies and production companies and locations and where to find a location if you need one, and hiring people and all of that. So yeah, I pretty much.
I'm curious, if you have a car that's in a music video, do you have companies that you already know that will loan you the car?
Yeah, or you can ask around and be like, who, you know, what kind of car, the car you're looking for. You can find it just based on asking around who I already know, or they have you know, online avenues to where you can look up, see what's online, rental websites and stuff like that. You pretty much just, like I said, researching, you finding whatever works for the music video. So yeah. So yeah, I think right now, I know you asked me, you was like, you know, what are you working on recently? Myself.
Okay.
Myself. I've been working on myself as far as just like personally, internally, my brand, my own personal brand, because it's a different version of me working in production, being a producer, than who I am as an artist or who I am as an actor. So it's a lot of different gears, you know, it's a lot of different working ways to it. So a lot of times I have to separate. So right now I'm just working on me, like how do I, me personally as an artist or a brand or whatever. So that's what I've been working on.
So this probably not a good question to ask because, you know, you are actor, but one of my favorite actors is Denzel Washington. Do you have like a favorite actor?
Denzel Washington. I mean, these are giants. These are the greats. These are the people that you saw on TV that inspired you and let you know, like, if they can do it, I can do it too. Seeing people like Will Smith on Fresh Prince, seeing people like Denzel Washington in Training Day and all these different movies, Out of Time, all the movies that was coming on.
You should have been able to play Will Smith in that what's the name? Because the dude that played him in what's that show? What's the show?
The new one?
Oh, you talking about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? The new one?
Yeah, the new
Bel
one.
Air.
Bel-Air. Man, he was good, but I could just see you playing Fresh Prince.
Yeah, I mean, Will Smith is probably a big inspiration for me acting wise. And there's just so many different people. Will Smith, Lorenz Tate, you know, just all the people you would see in those old school style black movies.
I still think of him as
25, but you're really like 65. You really like 40. You really like
yeah, I got a little.
Okay, because we're talking about love and basketball. You
know, basketball. Omar Epps. I mean, even comedians, Mike Epps. They were able to branch into just the acting avenue and everything. So I've been inspired by so many different actors, and they're not all black. Some of them are of different race and of different ethnicity. But being a kid is all about the project, like what I was watching, the TV shows, the movies. I could see an actor that might not have been necessarily what people would call a great actor, but the movie I remember is what helps me hold them dear to me. To where it's like, okay, that actor inspired me. They be like, that dude can't act, but it's about what you remember, like what I remember, you know. So just seeing people like Kenan and Kel, like all the different people that could do it. So I mean, the list for me is endless.
Yeah. So I saw an interview you was talking about. You wanted to. I remember you saying like being a what is it called? And like a superhero, like the superhero type of movie as well.
Yeah. Like I really, now's not the time for me to close myself off. I can't be picky about nothing. I mean, because the opportunity, you never know what opportunity can change your life. You know, at first I was like, oh, well, if they ask me to do this, I don't know, you know, I got morals and all of this, but sometimes you really just have to learn how to separate. And you know, if I'm asked to do a certain kind of role, it's all about what I can bring to it. If I feel like I can bring something to it, then I'm gonna give it my all.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about me personally.
Yeah, because it's not
it's not me. I'm bringing something to embody that character.
And I was like, you know what? I'm really kind of glad you rebranded because you taking the
exactly
your personal out and then bringing you as
and even
entertainer.
Even the name Phaariq, it's not new. I mean, there's people that's been following me that knew I've had that name before, years ago. Like when I first moved to LA, that was who I decided like this is me as an artist, you know. But you meet people and they tell you, oh, I think you should go by your real name, or oh, I think somebody called me Big Fave one day and I took that and ran with it. Like I don't know, you know, you just kind of, you have to remember what is it that you want to do. Who are you, you know, before who people told you to be. So I know what I want to do and I know how I want to present myself, and I really should have stuck with that, I feel like. But everything happens for a reason.
That's right.
I mean, I was me person, you know, I was just who I was, and things still played out in a way that were able to bless me and elevate me as far as acting and stuff like that. So now this is just me really, I feel like trying to grow and elevate in my journey. And just, present myself in a more marketable way, maybe, and just a way that resonates with everybody, or is able to resonate with everybody.
And I have a question. If you could work or act alongside anybody, who would it be?
Man,
Put him on the spot.
I have to.
If I could work alongside anybody, I mean, is it just
whoever you want? What, female, male?
So I really would like to just even be in the presence of Angela Bassett. You know?
Oh my God!
Just the presence. I don't even got it. I mean,
I don't even have to say nothing.
To see her, or even Denzel Washington, John David Washington. You know, his son, Denzel Washington's son, is a really good actor. And just all different kind of people. I'm trying to think, man. I always say I don't feel like I have a favorite anything because I take so much in. I just my head be all over the place. But
that's good.
I had originally always wanted to be on American Horror Story.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all watch American Horror Story.
I used to.
I used to. Yeah, I loved American Horror Story. I mean, I was like, I don't care if they kill me off after 5 minutes. I just want to be on it.
Yeah.
Just I guess you could say Angela Bassett, definitely Denzel Washington, even Will Smith. I mean, just the contrast of me being somebody new and people who have already been in the game. I want to work with people who are established.
Yeah.
And I'm also open to, new talent as well. So I just try not to close myself off.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people I could think of that I was like, maybe you guys have seen my personality, so you're like, they would go good together, or they would do this or whatever. So there's a few projects that I've personally written. Like, I wouldn't want to saturate all of my projects and just I'm acting in every project. And I done wrote it, I'm acting in it, producing it. Like, that's so narcissistic, like I don't want to do that. So there are maybe 3 projects that I've created to where I would be there's a character that at least fits some part of it, that's to where I could probably do, but everything else is just like, I have certain people I envision or I envisage for certain roles. So
you have an agency representation. Do you have a mentor, like somebody you call and say, hey, whatever, man, I don't know, should I take this, is there someone, somebody to like a sounding board?
What I will say is that I've had influences, people who I met early on that were like, oh, this is how the industry works or whatever. But as far as a mentor, I don't. And that's another thing. Like, life is my biggest mentor. Outside of life beating me up every now and then, I don't have just like a set mentor. And I've always wanted, I definitely need that because there are people older than me that know so much and have been established. And right now it's just me managing myself. Like, I'm trying to find a manager. I'm in the process of looking for a manager, just with everything that's coming new. And a mentor as well. So no, I don't.
So what would be the role of the manager? Like,
just kind of handling all of my personal brand and
Okay.
acting and everything else. Like, it's one thing to do it yourself, and it's one thing to have a team. You know, somebody, a team of people behind you, or somebody that's working behind the scenes to you know, kind of get things to take off for you.
Yeah.
A lot of people you see, that's what they have. They didn't
Yeah.
do it all by themselves.
Mhm.
So you get to a point to where it's like you can't do everything by yourself.
Mhm.
And I'm getting to that point to where I've realized that. So I'm focusing myself on being around the right people,
Mhm.
finding a manager who can, you know, just kind of manage me as far as acting, producing, getting my projects picked up. I'm grateful enough to be able to pitch projects to network executives and stuff like that. Now it's just a matter of me having everything together. Like, I can't walk in a room and just be like, here you go, like, this is what I want to do. No, you gotta, I had to learn, me becoming a writer, I had to learn how to write. I had to learn how to screenwrite all over again in the past 2 years, just taking on something new. So it's just a matter of me getting prepared, and now I got to find another agent for literary.
Because when you write, you have to say, put how stuff.
Yeah, you have to format script.
Yeah.
And me, I handwrite, so it's like I have to format it into screenwriting, into scripts, and all of that. I didn't go to school for screenwriting, so I had to learn all of that all over
Do your
again,
research, huh?
do my research, and you know, all of that. So I'm just really looking for, you know, like a management company that can really not take a little pressure off of me doing everything by myself.
You said you're working on you right now,
Yeah.
and I think that's important because a lot of times people can get lost and then
Yes.
start just spiraling out of control. So that is really good. What do
Trying.
you know, like, what do you do just to chill out, relax, whatever, have fun?
So here lately, I've been in the process of just trying to just reconstruct my body, you know, like working out, like you were saying, getting into working out. I'm a person who has had a smoking habit in the past, so I've tried to replace smoking with the gym and just all different, doing things differently. Like, you don't want to be the same your entire life, and that's just me. Like, I wanted something different. I feel like I'm always able to reinvent myself in some kind of way. And I'm big on music. I've actually, you know, like I talked about that. Writing songs. I'm very passionate about music. I've written maybe like 9 songs. I always say I want to write for other artists. If I'm not the person performing it, I always play different things, and people like, oh yeah, you need to perform that. And I'm like, oh, why are you trying to push me on stage? You know. But I had to realize, you know, sometimes being pushed out of your comfort zone is a way to elevate.
Yeah.
And the people in my life and my friends and stuff, they hear the things that I'm working on and I write, and they're like, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I think Chris Brown or somebody, you know, I could write for them, and they're like, or you could write for you, and I'm like, oh, I guess, so. Yeah, I'm really passionate about music. I'm really passionate about film and television, so I watch a lot of TV, just from a student aspect, studying camera angles.
Yes, I think you have a song on TikTok, don't you?
I did a freestyle.
Okay.
With my old TikTok before I started rebranding.
Okay.
I did do a freestyle. And the person whose song I freestyled, they actually noticed it and was like, "Yo, you know,
I'm telling you."
And I was like,
fresh.
Okay, so, you know, I'm real off the dome. I feel like I need to grow that. I need to keep doing it, keep expanding on the abilities that I have. And like, you know, I'd like to freestyle. I'm not a rapper, but I do it. Yeah, I do whatever. So, it's really just, that's the kind of stuff that keeps me sane. You know, I'm very spiritual, so a lot of times I spend a lot of time in spiritual solitude. People will be like, "What's going on? Like, where you been at?" You know, it's just I've been through certain things to where I'm just naturally reserved and just in spiritual solitude. So I read a lot. Like I said, I got into the habit of writing. Writing keeps me sane, and just all different kind of things.
That's what's up.
What type of books do you like to read?
So I've gotten into audiobooks here and there. My dad kind of got me into audiobooks. But as far as reading, I used to read a lot of books. Oh, it was like Forged by Fire. I'm trying to remember the artist, but I take in so many loads of information. So whatever I can read, I read it. It don't matter what the book is. It don't matter the name of it. I could read that tomorrow. Like, you know, it's just I read a lot. I write a lot. I probably write more than I read now because I've been focused on just getting everything done. But yeah, like a lot of my reading comes from research. So
Yeah.
And that's good. Research.
research. Do your research.
So, if you know, I think this one of the standard question in most interviews. So, if you were to say anything to your younger self, what would it be?
To my younger self.
And what?
Uh-oh.
I think I might have something. Because I don't want to say it off the top of my head, and my thoughts be going all over the place. And I'll be like, hey, make sure you got cushion.
Let's go get that cushion together.
But no, I really want to, I want to get down to what.
My next question is going. Probably the last. Final question is going to be: if somebody, a young 12, 15-year-old, would say, "Hey, what should I start doing now?" What I mean, like whatever. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. So I did something. I think I did this when March came about, and I was able to actually be what I had worked so hard to be, which was a producer. And I was just like, what I say? If I could write a letter to my younger self, I would say, don't look back too much and don't slow down. You know, when things around you feel like they can't get any worse, keep your head up and don't look down. Don't look down. Keep your head up. Keep going, man. You have the opportunities to reach new heights. Being a kid, you might not think that or realize that, but you never know how your life can go. You never know how something can turn out just based on you choosing to believe in yourself or choosing to, I want to do this and I'm gonna keep doing it. So definitely keep your feet moving and follow your heart. I followed my heart. I'm glad I followed my heart just as far as what I wanted to do and what my dreams and what I believed in. Be prepared to leave your city. Yeah. Be prepared to leave your home. And do heavy lifting. Be prepared to put a lot of weight on yourself. So yeah, you'll be on your way. Just stay the course, no matter what. Stay true to yourself. Be who you want to be, and don't let others limit you. And most importantly, don't limit yourself. Your hard work will pay off on many days, but on other days, the work is never done. So, your palms might itch. I know you really want to help the people around you, but you got to use that to make a difference because one day you will.
Yeah, that's dope.
It was
dope. I think you answered both questions in one.
Wow. But you asked me, you were saying just like as far as people getting into acting and all of that. I would say, if you realize that you're passionate about something, you want to do something, get away from people who fill your head with doubt. Stay away from people who, that's the first thing you need to do is get everybody from around you that does not believe that you can do what you believe that you want to do. If you tell somebody, hey, I think I want to do this, I'm passionate about this, and they're like, oh, really? Oh, yeah? That need to be the last words you ever say to them. You don't need to tell them about nothing else you're doing. So get from around people who fill your head with doubt. That's the number one thing. Number two, figure out what you want to do and figure out how to do it. Don't just let people sell you a dream. Don't just let people tell you, oh, you want to be an actor with this X, Y, and Z. Figure out, know for yourself. Know for yourself what you want to do. Know how to take rejection. Number one, everything ain't gonna always go your way. Kill your expectations and your entitlement and get down to hard work. What is it that you want to do? How are you going to bring it? How are you going to manifest it? How are you going to bring it to life? Figure out how you're going to do that. Stop expecting everything to go your way. Stop getting lost in your entitlement and like, I want it to go this way. It might not need to go that way in order for you to be successful. Yeah. You might have to do it a different way. So be willing to learn. Be willing to learn. Be open.
Get rid of fear. Fear holds a lot of people back.
Wow.
Because if you had kept that fear, I don't have the money.
Get your ticket. Yes, honey.
So
yes.
I love fear. Fear is an illusion. Fear is your biggest enemy. Fear is what turns you against yourself.
Yeah, because
And
I think it took a lot to just leave where you from. I
Yeah,
think it take a lot.
Yeah,
Like you and your sister, y'all left like
Yeah,
y'all was like y'all had got out of high school and y'all was gone.
Yes, and I did it. But even still, it's gonna take a toll on you. So you have to find a balance. Like being anytime I am away from my family, or if I don't get time to spend, like us being around each other, playing games, doing what we do, that means a lot to me. And if I don't always get it, it bothers me on the inside. You know, being away from my family, it bothers me. But at the end of the day, I have to think about the big picture. And I have people around that are like, hey, you know, we miss you, but go kill it. Go do what you need to do. We'll be okay. You'll see it soon, you know. So that was the hardest challenge, is just if you want to get out of your hometown, if you want to go somewhere that you know you need to go to pursue what you want to pursue at a better level, you're going to have to compromise and do that, and just do it. It's not going to go the way you planned. It's not going to go. It's very scary. A lot of people tend not to do it because of how much they fear. You know, it's just like, what if it don't turn out this way? Or what if I fail? Be prepared to fail. Let yourself make mistakes. That's what life is.
Those are lessons.
Those are lessons. And I've been programming myself because I had a really bad habit of, oh man, I took an L. I'm gonna have to eat that L. Man, I took an L. It's a lesson. It's not a loss. Program yourself to stop thinking that L's as losses. You don't. The only thing you can lose is people in your life that's important to you. Only thing you can lose is money, tactile things. But as far as you feeling like, man, when am I gonna win? When am I gonna have my moment? It'll come. Yeah. But you got to keep going. If you give up, you only have yourself to blame, because you look up and you like, dang, what happened to me? Like I was really at it with that, and I gave up. And then you start thinking about what if start beating you upside the head every day. In order to avoid that, you just got to keep going. You got to keep doing. If you know you want to do something, keep at it. Yeah. Who cares if you're not getting the support that you want? Who cares if it's not taking off as fast as you want it to? Yeah. It doesn't matter. Just keep doing it. Yeah. All the people you see now that's successful, they kept doing it. It was at one point where they didn't have nothing or nobody to support them, but they kept going. Yeah. So you really got to keep going. If you don't keep going, at the end of the day, you have yourself to blame. You, in that sense, you will lose because of you. You know, so keep going. Any failure, I don't know why people are so scared of failure. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people look at me and they think like, oh, he's so successful, he's doing this, he's doing that. You know how many times I had to fail in my life to get there? I mean, I literally just told you I lost my car. Yeah. I was living with people. I was just constantly feeling like working 2 jobs, not able to pursue acting how I wanted to pursue. I mean, I felt like I was failing in so many areas. And then there were things that would come along and remind me like, okay, now you remember why you're doing this. Now you know. Just keep doing it. And
really and truly, you setting the stage for what is to be.
Yeah.
But you know, another thing that I look at, people look at people like Oprah Winfrey. Oh, I wish I had their money. Oh, I wish but people don't look at what they had to go through to become who they are today.
Nobody ever does.
And people don't. How many people are willing to make that sacrifice?
Not a lot of people.
And not a lot of people.
Not a lot of people. And even if you are willing, the sacrifice still has to be made. You can have the willingness, but if you don't make the sacrifice, then
it's dead.
It's dead. You don't have nothing to go off of. And a lot of people tend to look at success in an ongoing way. You don't look at what people had to go through in the past to get to where they are. Nobody ever looks at that. I mean, ever. Like somebody could talk about their struggle and you be like, dang, I didn't know that. Or, I didn't know it was all of that. Because you're so focused on looking at people's success. You're so focused on looking at who's winning and what they're successful at. Everybody got a testimony. Everybody got a story. And it's just like you're invalidating that when you just choose to focus on success.
They're now.
They're now. In the now.
And it's like then.
Yeah, and not then. So the success, you're looking at that, but success don't just come to your hands. You have to fail a lot to be successful. You got to make mistakes a lot to be successful. You got to do stuff you don't want to do to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever looks at that, and I always encourage people to start looking at that because that's what makes people who they are.
Mm-hmm. The struggle.
The struggle, and that's part of the reason why I've decided to rebrand as well, because it can be a different thing when people always think you're winning, you know, or like if you're always talking about what you're doing and nobody has ever seen the struggles you went through to get there. How are you going to be real to people? How do you feel real to people? You don't connect with people in that way. So I think a lot of the connections I have now just with people saying what they've been saying to me has come from me opening up, you know, and just revealing more as far as what I went through, you know? So I always want to connect in that sense, and I'm working on that. I'm working on speaking more. A lot of people haven't seen my personality. A lot of people haven't heard me speak, and now's the time. Now's the time. So I'll see you at the show.
See you at the show, baby. See you at the show.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
To a theater
Coming
near
soon.
you.
Need to know where to get the ticket.
Coming soon, and it's really a figurative thing. I am the show, so I see you at the show. That's what it is, and I'm working on something to where I can make it more cohesive to where everybody understands it. But that's what it is. It's a show. See you at the show. Phaariq show. I see y'all soon. So it's just like,
And we'll be there.
Yes, you will.
But I think
Everyone
we're about to close the show. But I think one of the things you said earlier that I want to come back on, and I'm sorry.
No, it's
It
okay.
says there's a difference between being who you are and something that you say.
Who you think you are and who you actually are two totally different people. And I had to realize this because everybody's now lately, especially on social media, you see everybody propping themselves up. Everybody got this idea of who they swear they are, and then you'll meet them in real life and you'll see
Something totally different.
something totally different. I mean, you got people tweeting from the couch. Oh, I'm about to turn. I'm about to turn my Phaariq into Richard Milley. Oh, okay. You know, everybody's performative, and sometimes it's just about who you are. It's not about who you think you are and how you are trying to big yourself up, or you're trying to look a certain kind of way or do things a certain kind of way. Sometimes it's about who you are naturally, you know. And when we get so caught up in our heads of thinking, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that, no, I'm that dude, you know, I'm that. I never walked around with that, and people still. I was still a target because I still did me, but I never had a sense of arrogance with it, or like a sense of self-centeredness or conceitedness. You know, I don't like feeling like that, because somebody's situation today could be your situation tomorrow.
Easy.
You can be rich today and be broke tomorrow.
Yeah, that's
You can be healthy today
and be sick tomorrow. So it's just like,
we said got that term,
yeah,
fake it until you make
fake
it.
it until you
So
make
people
it.
are walking around with all this jewelry on, half of it, 90% of it's fake.
Yeah.
Even the rich
Yeah.
people are wearing fake jewelry.
Yeah.
They're not wearing
Yeah,
actual diamonds.
yeah, all of that.
But you know, it's fake it till
Fake
you
it till you make
And
it.
that's,
Fake it till
that's
you
where
make
our
it.
society has gotten
Nah.
to, and that's not true.
Yeah, it's not true.
That's not
Because
true.
I mean, think about how many people who are authentically being themselves and they just go off of that. It might not be easy, but they doing it, you know. But now our culture has gotten to this thing to where, yeah, fake it till you make it, or yeah, look a certain kind of way. You got to have a certain kind of look, or you know, where your Maserati at, where your Bentley at, you know, where your
You don't have a
ice at.
garage to put it in.
And no garage. Don't even have the credit to get it.
Okay.
It ain't even there.
You know what I'm saying? Right. It's a rental. So it's just like, when you realize that perception is everything, you get to a certain place with it, and you like, okay, I just want to be myself. I'm not too focused on how people perceive me. And if these are people I care about, then yeah, I'm open to hearing out like, oh, you know, their perception. But a lot of us always care what people think about us, and we're so scared like to pursue our dreams and do all these things, or what are people gonna say, or nobody's gonna believe in me, or nobody's gonna support me, and all these different things. Sometimes that don't matter, because that's how you get distracted. You know, like that's how you
Start trying to please everybody else and not yourself.
And I personally fell into that habit, and I had to realize like, okay, my people pleasing days are over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to make you comfortable and be uncomfortable just so that you can be comfortable. It's not always about that. So yeah, who you think you are and who you actually are two totally different people. That's why you observe people, you know, when you get in a conversation with them. they first come around and they talking and they like, oh yeah, I do this and I do that and yeah, I got
They
this
bragging too much.
and I got that and yeah. So what's up? But here's the thing. I always tell people, you ain't got to sell yourself long with me. You ever heard of selling yourself short? You can sell yourself long too.
Or who
Don't
you
say-
trying to
or who
convince?
you trying-
Me or you?
Or you.
No.
So it's just like, yeah, don't sell yourself long. Whatever you do, it'll speak for itself.
Self, yeah.
So a lot of times I'm not talking about what I'm doing now. I'm not talking about what I'm working on now because when the moment comes, it will speak for itself.
And
You
people
will see it. You will see it. So I ain't gonna fly off the handle trying to give you the full rundown of everything. It'll come, you know, and just focus on that.
Yeah.
When it do. So don't get too caught up in. Yeah. So you know, everybody want to know everything. Don't get too caught up in that.
Yeah, no, that's right.
You'll see.
Piece by piece.
Piece by piece, bit by bit.
As we come to a close, I want to thank everybody for being here. Turner Talk Podcast. And this is Phaariq.
Phaariq.
Okay.
Phaariq.
And he's
Phaariq
going through.
Show.
Yeah, he's going
Coming
through a Phaariq
soon.
show. But he's going through an entire rebranding. But we wanted to talk and sit down, and just have some dialogue, conversation about, you know, this.
All of
You know,
these.
An
it's stuff.
informative
It
conversation.
has been definitely
Hey, look,
informative.
thank
'cause
y'all for having me. Right. It's a lot you probably.
Tasha, do
know.
you have any?
Oh, I feel like I can go and do.
Nothing.
Whatever you wanna do.
Nothing.
No.
I want you
Yeah,
to take
you
over the
can do
world.
Whatever you want
Whatever I
to
wanna
do. You can
be.
be whatever you
Thank
want
you.
to be.
In the army.
Right. You whatever it
Oh,
is, you can do it. You
Thank
just
you.
Keep your mind to
Thank
it,
you.
and you can do it. Don't let nobody tell you can't. Once you start doing that,
That's
once
when
you start
doubt
listening, right?
and
That's,
stagnancy. I don't know if that's a word, but it come into
you
play.
know, it's definitely a word.
We're using it.
We're seeing it with a lot of people. You know?
Exactly.
Change something up, switch something up, do something a little different. It might not. You might feel like it's hard or it's difficult, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be worth it. So if it's anything that you've been wanting to do a little differently,
Mhm.
try it
Do it.
out. Take the risk or lose the chance. So
Take
that's
the
where I'm
risk
at.
or lose the
I see
chance.
it.
I
Yeah,
like
take
that.
the risk or lose the chance. Don't be so focused on being well known. Be worth knowing.
Thank you.
Ooh.
And
I
that's
don't
the
care.
problem. A lot of people want to be well known, but for what?
Right.
Yeah.
What are we knowing you
Once
for?
we know you, what can we say about you?
Exactly. Now we don't
You
like
know,
you.
yeah. So it's just like I'm not focused on. I mean, I've met so many people who are
Mhm.
just so focused on cloud chasing,
Mm-hmm.
on social climbing.
Mm-hmm.
We have this form.
Mm-hmm.
My generation, we have this form of elite. We gotta have all these luxurious things and glorify these lifestyles
Mm-hmm.
to be presented in a certain kind of way. It ain't about that.
Nope.
Yeah.
Cause then you see what the old heads be talking about when you
Mhm.
when you actually start growing. You see what
Mhm.
they be talking about, and you're like, okay, oh, okay, you got all these followers. What else you got?
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, where's the longevity?
Exactly.
Where's it at?
Yeah.
What else you do?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't answer the question because you've been so focused on being the center of attention all the
Mhm.
time. So I didn't want to fall into that. Moving to LA or different places, you can fall into what everybody else is
Mhm.
doing. And I'm so glad that I was separate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I used to feel like, dang, how am I gonna be? I want to be a personable person. You know, I want to be outgoing and social like these LA people. But sometimes you gotta just chill. You know, you'll meet the right people. You might meet some wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you don't be too eager to just get everybody in your
Exactly.
corner. You have to watch. You have to observe.
Yeah.
So that's really what I've been focused on. And you know, the people that's rocking with me, they rock with me. Whoever not,
Bye.
who are they?
Bye.
I've never heard of them.
Yep.
So, you know, it just is what it is. As far as that. But yeah, thank y'all for having me. I'm
No,
grateful.
thank you for
Do you
being
have any
here.
final words for the audience?
Y'all got any more questions? Y'all good?
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
I
Now,
Right.
this is like,
Look,
okay,
we-
I'm like, because as a cousin, you
Right.
know what I'm saying, as in my cousin, I'm like, you know, it's just like I said, you always had a flair, and then like when you see somebody move off, and you know, I ain't gonna say fearless, but fearlessly move off and pursue their dreams and have goals, aspirations. That's why I say don't never give up on your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, and keep just moving forward in it. You know what I'm saying?
But even as a cousin, you didn't know that he went through some of those struggles when he moved
But
to
that's
LA.
what I say when he come home. I mean, like, I mean,
what they
if
say,
somebody-
don't wear what you going through.
Yeah, and that's the biggest blessing for me is I don't look like what I've been through because we only scratching the surface. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna need some kind of documentary or
Okay,
something to really get down to show y'all like
That's another
whoever
show,
you
right?
think I am or however you think I got successful or whatever. It went a completely different way that you really just don't know, and I'm glad to be able to speak on it and talk about it. Because if I don't, like I said, how am I ever gonna look real? How am I ever gonna be a real person to people? Right now, I'm just focused on being a human being.
Yeah.
I'm not so focused on being on a pedestal like everybody else, or putting myself on a pedestal. Sometimes that can just reek from insecurity.
Yeah.
You want to be a certain kind of way because people have always treated you a certain kind of way or stuff like that. So that's not my focus no more. Right now, I'm just a human being, and the people that love me will love me, and the people that don't, again, who are they? I've never heard of them.
Okay, yeah, because I'll just be like, well, that's you. We just having a good time.
Right.
And I know
Right.
that, you reach out and try to really spend time with your family,
Man.
like love, you know what I mean? And I think that's just what I've always seen.
Hard.
So, I'm glad that you are putting it out
I'm
there.
trying.
And somebody, a little kid or a young adult or somebody come to this podcast and say, wow, you know what I'm saying? It can come from Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah, you can't come from
and
Fort Worth,
then
Texas.
do things that you really have aspired to do your entire life. And
Absolutely.
that's motivation.
And before we close, we can let them
I love
know.
this young man. Thank you. This is
Oh,
Phaariq.
thank you.
He's director, producer,
Thank you.
actor, singer. If you just joining the podcast, please start. Like when it's posted, go back and listen to it from the beginning and listen to all that. His flight.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything. And I'm grateful to do this because this is something for me to look back on. When I progress, I can look back on this and be like, dang, I remember when I was so much. It's different now, and I have this to reflect on. So I'm really grateful for both of you for allowing me the time to finally be able to do this. I know, it took a while with everything, but thank y'all so much. And timing is everything. This is the right time to
This
do
was
it.
the right time.
I'm blessed and I'm grateful to be here. And you said something I was trying to elaborate on as far as just you said like a kid will come or somebody could see this and it might help them in some way. And I always tell people, I'm not a role model. I'm just an example. And it might not always be, we're used as examples to show people. So I don't I make sure I don't pride myself in saying, oh, I'm a role model to people. I have little cousins and stuff that look up to me and everything, or, just see what I'm doing. And hopefully it gives them the drive to pursue whatever they want to pursue. But I'm not a role model. I'm just an example. And whatever example I need to be or whatever way I need to be used, I have to allow myself to do that. So.
Yeah, I think I'm glad that you said that because a lot of people think of people as role models. And then when they see them not
or they find
they
find out about certain things. People go through. Everybody go through something.
Yeah,
and everybody has a story.
Everybody has a story. Everybody has a testimony. So,
and you're not gonna like 100% of everything about everybody, but that doesn't mean that you can't find inspiration, motivation from them or whatever the case may be.
Absolutely, and so many people they always tell me like, "Oh, you inspired me or you influenced me." Now, even when I was on Twitter, and it's part of the reason why I'm doing what I want to do as an artist because I fell in the habit of helping other people. There would be people that would message me nonstop like, hey, I was about to commit suicide or hey, I was about to end it all. But something you said or something you did, it really kept me going. So it just became something for me to do because I feel like, wow, this is responsibility. I got to help people. But you also have to pour into yourself too.
That's right.
So.
Okay, so tell people how they can find you right now and then all the whole thing. So
are you looking for me? Are you looking for me? Because if you're looking for me, you can find me. But I'm on Instagram Phaariq. Definitely feel free to follow me. Twitter Phaariq Show. Like I said, just search the name. Whatever comes up will come up and you will find me. I'm on Instagram and Twitter right now. As far as Facebook, that's more of a personal thing. So if you're not, because Facebook is just more personal to me as far as family and everything else. It's a way for me to keep up with everybody. But yeah, TikTok, Phaariq Show. Just remember Phaariq Show. will see that name. You will see me. You know,
Coming soon.
You coming soon. Like I'm not gonna stop. Let's like so. Yeah, just remember the name Phaariq. That's all I can tell you. And you, whatever you're looking for, you will find.
You will find it, baby. You gonna find it.
It's been awesome.
This has been phenomenal.
It's a dialogue for me.
Mhm.
So,
And do you want to tell them why we're wearing pink?
oh,
Don't you tell them because this
I missed the memo.
No.
She just thought about it today because it was
Oh.
October 1st.
It's October 1st through the 31st is breast cancer
Breast
awareness.
cancer awareness.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I know several people that have dealt with that and have been cured, and it's personal.
Yeah.
So I said we should. It's the first of the month interview. We should need to support breast
I
cancer.
definitely would have
awareness.
did it too. That's such a beautiful thing to do.
Thank
And
you.
my great grandmother, she's a breast cancer survivor. So shout out to all the breast cancer survivors out there. We are memorizing everyone. If you've lost anybody to breast cancer, whatever, we want to recognize that and just remember it and celebrate it.
Celebrate your life. And speaking of that, go get ladies, get your mammograms and encourage your supporters, your followers, whoever, your friends, families to get the mammograms. Early detection can help save lives. And yeah, that's about it. That's all.
Thank you for having me.
If you reach this part of the show, please make sure you press the thumbs up button. Thanks to those who shared the live stream, and thanks to those who will be watching this on the replay. Can't do it without you. Appreciate you tuning in to Turner Talks Podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.
Look out for the Phaariq show.
Coming soon.
Peace.
Coming soon. See y'all at the show.
Yes.
See you soon.
Okay.